In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the inner tie rods on this Honda Civic. To do these, we have to remove the outers, so you might as well inspect them and replace them if needed at the same time so you don't have to go back in there. If you need these parts or any other parts for your car, check us out at oneauto.com. Let's get started. Let's remove the wheel. Use a 19mm socket and take off all 5 lug nuts so you can pull the hubcap and the wheel off. Take this off. If you don't have a hubcap and a steel wheel, it'll just be an aluminum rim. And take the wheel off. With the wheel off, we have much better access to do everything, and we have to separate the outer from the inner tie rod. To do that, there's a jam nut that locks them together, so let's loosen that up. Use a 24mm wrench and break this free. This broke free very nicely. A lot of times they are stuck and they require some persuasion with a hammer or some heat. Also, sometimes they get stuck on the inner tie rod. This one spins freely and independently of the inner, so that's great. If they are stuck on the inner tie rod, that's not a big deal. You'll just have to hold it with locking pliers if you need to move this independently. On the outer tie rod, you'll see that there's a cotter pin holding the mounting nut secure. This one is disintegrating, so it might be a little tricky taking this out the nice way, but a lot of times if it doesn't come out the right way, you can just cut it and hammer a socket right over. Hopefully yours comes out. For me, I'm just going to put a 19mm socket right over it with an air impact, and that should take everything right off. It is already sprayed with rust penetrant. That should help. There it is. Now you'll want to take a hammer, tap the knuckle till the tie rod pops out. There it is. Now you want to count the amount of turns it takes to remove the outer tie rod from the inner so that when you put it back, you can get it close to being the same. Now you still need an alignment after this job is done, but this will at least make it so your tires are somewhat parallel to each other and not completely out of spec. Took 12 turns for me, but of course it's not going to be the same for you, so whatever number you got, memorize it. We have to remove the jam nut at this point, and mine spins freely, so I'm just going to take it off. This is when you would use locking pliers here and some sort of tool, whether it's a power tool or hand tool, on the nut to remove it, because we have to pull the boot off and it won't come off if the nut is still on. There's a clamp on this side of the boot. Squeeze it with pliers and pull it off. A lot of times these are reusable, so you can put them back on, but if they lost their spring tension and they feel like they're not squishing down on that boot, replace them. This is actually really hard to capture on camera because there's a clamp that's all the way back there behind the last fold of this Bellows boot. On the back of the boot, this is what the clamp that's there looks like, and it's a metal one-time use clamp. I found that the easiest way to remove them is with a pry bar and a hammer. So as you can see, I already have my pry bar partially set in place there. I'm going to put it on that ear of the clamp and hammer it off. There's that clamp that popped off. I'm going to remove it. There it is. And now you should be able to take this Bellows boot off by pulling straight out on it. Pop it off the rack. And pop it off the tie rod. Sometimes it gets stuck on here. There it goes. On each side of the inner tie rod where it connects onto the steering rack, you'll see that there's a washer that's flattened over the tie rod end. We have to straighten that out, or at least punch it off here and on the other side so that we can spin the tie rod. This is more of a locking washer so that it prevents the tie rod from backing out by itself. You can do this with that same pry bar and hammer that you used earlier. Set it right up against that flat washer and hammer it. All right, do the same on the other side. There are multiple tools for removing inner tie rods. I'm going to use this one that clamps on to the tie rod. And you can use a 3/8 drive breaker bar or ratchet on the end of it to turn it counterclockwise and break it free. Now the key here is that these two need to be nice and tight, so that's exactly what I'm gonna do. For me, it happens to be a 17 millimeter, but if you have this tool, it's most likely a different size. Stick a 3/8 drive tool in here and break this free. Before I take this all the way off, I'm going to remove my tool. It's going to be easier to do this now as opposed to when it's free floating in my hand. Take this off and unthread the tie rod the rest of the way. And there it is. Make sure this washer comes with it. Inspect the end of the rack before installing, and mine's good to go. Threads are good, no debris on here. I'm going to take this flat washer that comes with the new tie rod, and it has two tabs that have to line up with the two cutouts on the rack. I'm going to press that into position, or you could just put it directly on the tie rod if you wish to do so, but sometimes it's easier to just do it this way. And then take the inner tie rod and just thread it onto the rack. Make sure that washer stays secured in place. Okay. That's bottomed out by hand, so let's put our tool back on, snug it up. When you tighten this, you don't want to go too far because you don't want to twist the rack internally. So just give it a little bit, that's snug, and then try a little bit extra. If it goes, that's fine. If not, leave it. If it feels like when you're pulling it's bending or twisting the entire rack internally, that's plenty tight right there. I'm gonna remove my tool. The tie rod usually comes with some grease, so if it's in a little packet, put it on the ball and socket joint of the inner tie rod. And you're going to want to work it in there just to have a good grease coverage all over that socket. That way, as it pivots over time, it can stay lubricated. Perfect. Any extra that's left, I like to put it right where the boot sits on the inner tie rod. This will prevent it from getting stuck in the future, and it'll help out the alignment professional because usually if the boot gets stuck, it'll start twisting as the alignment gets set. It's time to install the Bellows boot, and I have a wire tie going around the end of it. Unless you have the metal clamps and the special tool to do it, this is what you'll have to do. Slide it over the end of the tie rod, press it in all the way. There we go, make sure that's seated. And then set it on the steering rack. Press it over. It's going to be hard to tell when the boot is actually on the steering rack just because you can't see much. If you have a mirror, you can stick it in there and look, but you can also feel for it, feel around it, and make sure you don't feel the lip of the steering rack. If you don't, it's most likely on there. So to tighten this wire tie now, I'm going to take some long pliers, stick them in there and twist it. Twisting it will pull the wire tie through its locking mechanism and lock it in place nice and tight. All right, don't break the whole thing off, but once it's tight, we'll cut off the excess. There we go. I highly recommend applying anti-seize to these threads here so that the inner and outer tie rods don't seize together, as well as the jam nut. You don't need a lot, a little bit will do. And just put it all the way around. Now, of course, when you put the jam nut on, it will kind of spread it around evenly as it's threaded on, so keep that in mind. Speaking of, take that jam nut and thread it on. I'm gonna go in most of the way with it, not only so it can spread the anti-seize around evenly, but also so it can make space for the outer tie rod. Take the outer tie rod and thread it on the same amount of turns that it took to take it off. All right, that's it right here. Bring it down and into the knuckle. Install the castle nut. This new mounting nut is an 18 millimeter. Snug it up, and then we'll torque it. .40 foot-pounds is the torque for this mounting nut. That's it right there. The castle nut slots have to line up with the cotter pin. In this situation, the cotter pin is actually slightly above those slots, so I'm just going to leave it as is. But if yours are in the way of the cotter pin going through, continue tightening and not loosening to line these up. Put the cotter pin through, and to correctly lock it in, you're going to want to bend it over. Make sure that after it's bent, it's not in the way of anything, and I like to leave a little bit of wiggle room on it so it doesn't get stuck in there in the future. Let's tighten up the jam nut so it can lock the inner and outer tie rods together. This new mounting nut is a 21 millimeter. Snug it up, give it about 1/8 of a turn after it bottoms out. The rest will be up to your alignment professional, since they have to loosen this up anyway to do the alignment. There we go. So just do your best and make it nice and snug. And then I like to bring this back a little so the tie rod end is sitting nice and parallel with the knuckle and not at an angle. Let's get the wheel back on. If yours had hubcaps, make sure you line up the little cutout with the valve stem when you install the hubcap. Press that on. Put back all 5 of your lug nuts, snug them up in a cross pattern, and also in a cross pattern, torque them to 79 foot-pounds. Once again, the torque for these is 79 foot-pounds. Double check them. And there you have it. Take it for a road test, and don't forget to get an alignment. I hope this video was helpful, and if you have anything to say, leave it in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell so you can stay up to date with all of our latest content. Thanks for watching.